Welcome back to the Randed Podcast with Raffy and Chandra. Huzzah!
Yay!
Alrighty, is this our first one where we've both not really
Yeah,
been on the
it's
original
truly
continents
international.
that we're from? Yeah, so at the moment, where are you?
I am currently in Cagliari at the bottom of Sardinia. Just arrived here a
That's
couple of days
Italy,
ago.
right?
Yes. Well, Sardinia
Okay,
is the
alright.
big blob island. It's not on the mainland of Italy. But officially,
One would hope
Italian, kind
not, considering you're on
of. Yes.
the
I
boat
have
is
not
currently
teleported to the
it is
middle
in
of town.
Rome. In fact, we
You
are
don't
in
have...
the Colosseum.
My teleportation device did not. I put the wrong GPS coordinates in. I used Apple Maps.
See, even you see, yeah, Apple, not good for maths. But yeah, this is the first episode where I think you're on the boat. I'm currently in Palo Alto in California. And so the original scope of the Random Podcast where it started is very far from home.
It is now no longer eating Uber Eats in your living room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, very different living room now. So I thought
And
we
I
would
think both
do,
of us are reasonably far from Melbourne, both sides.
yeah, actually, that's true. For probably the equivalent, depending on which direction you measure it from.
We're probably closer from US to here. I wonder
Yeah.
what
This
if we're like equidistant. Melbourne, where you are and where I am.
I think it would be actually, right? Yeah, well, actually, this is definitely something now I need to Google. But anyway, I thought today we would do a catch up episode because I mean, we were just saying just before, normally it's the other way where we have too much of these, but I feel like there's been substantial changes to the point where we should actually do one.
Indeed,
So let's
there
begin
has
with
been a few things.
how
Well, I'm all right. I've had a bit of a change now in the boating trip mode, if you like. So I was bopping around the islands and in Greece and relaxing, and now sort of moving the boat a little bit more. So been on passage
okay.
from Greece, then from Greece came to Sicily, stopped there for a day, and then from Sicily came here to Sardinia. And now I'm sort of stopped here for a few days, basically to let one of the crew members off who's heading home,
Nah, tell them to
and
just
then
stick it
picking
out.
up a new crew member. I know, I was like, they were awesome, chef. I was like, damn it, I've lost the
Holy
chef.
shit. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just checking on
what's the
Google
distance?
Maps. So it's 8,000 from San Francisco, or like 7,800
To
something,
Melbourne?
and you're 9,000 something. So we're within striking
Oh, there you go.
distance of being able to sit.
And what about from me to Melbourne?
Yeah, you're 9,200 or something roughly.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, so not quite quiet, but yeah, not exactly totally off either. Yeah, you're 9,000. You're 9.5. So we're about less than 1,000 kilometers. 1,000 was it
And what
miles?
about
Sorry,
San
I'm on
Francisco to
miles mode.
here? San
God,
Francisco to here? Let's see.
I gotta figure out which way to spin the thing. Sorry, yeah. So you look like you're next year, and let's go measure distance to
I've got 6,200 miles. So we're officially
6,000.
closer than if we were doing a podcast from Melbourne.
Yeah,
There you go.
this is just 6,800 is what I got. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. We are. So if you think about it, Melbourne is roughly 1/3 of the way from where we are. So
Yeah.
if you chunk out the planet into thirds, we're roughly 1/3 of the way from the genesis
Well,
point.
geographically, different ways to do things, I guess. But
Yep.
yes. But yeah, no, it's been
Uh,
nice. Been on passage mode for a few days, which is good. It's just a different
what
way.
does that mean?
Like, basically means that the boat is moving. So when you're sailing, say, from Greece to Sicily or Sicily to here, the boat's just moving 24/7. So there's always somebody who's
Okay.
on watch overnight as well. So it's like, back to doing night watches. So it kind of feels like a 4-hour night shift that you do. But if there's any problems or whatever, I'm just kind of like sleeping upstairs. So I'm kind of like, it kind of feels like nights because I'm there on call, and it's like shift work where you're on call as well.
Yay! Remember, as most of the time that I remind you, you chose this.
Hey, Thug Life didn't choose me. Boat Life chose me.
Yeah, it's like, look, I don't want to do mid. It's too tough. I don't want to be
Yeah,
on
I'm
call
like, that's
on
it.
call
I'm
for
gonna
4 hours every night.
I'm doing like ophthalmology because oh man, this whole I don't want to do
Yeah,
night shifts the rest of my life. This bull. Like, why would anybody keep choosing to do that overnight? Anyway, I'm back to doing nights.
yeah, that's right. To go through the trouble, it's like, yeah, I got to get into and do all this stuff. You never have to do after hours. Yeah, after hours. Uh, oh well. I mean, hey, power to you, man, for being terrible at avoiding what you're trying to avoid.
On the upside, though, you do get some pretty cool moments. Like, so a couple of days ago, went to a cooking class, just as like a little celebration thing. Person leave the boat
Where was it?
in
Like, was it on an island or?
no, yeah, just here in Sardinia, and it was one of those Airbnb experience sort of ones. So it was, someone in their house, and like their mum was there as the nonna that was like teaching the cooking stuff as well. And it was a great class. Lots of wine.
Obviously,
Uh,
you only had lamb because that's the only vegetarian thing there.
but of course, it's all vegetarians. No, but it was
Yeah.
good. So it was a good cooking class, and there was a fun bunch of people. There was like one couple from the UK, and she was a junior doctor actually, who was then also thinking of like was a bit bored of clinical med, wanted to do med tech things. I was like, interesting.
So you hired.
And
This is very different to
yeah, I
doing
was like,
LinkedIn for hiring.
hello, free labor, want to come to Australia? And then there was another person who they just sort of like they were an art director at a ad agency. I was like, hey, can I
Oh,
send you some ads? Have a look at. uh, yeah, and anyway, we were all chatting, and then so the next day, everyone's on the boat for a boat party. And so these are all people that have, the chef lady, she has her own boat that she goes on occasion, but she was like, oh, I'll come, I'll cook, and bring the wine. I was like,
you,
okay.
there's
So
many.
essentially, from this one
Like,
cooking class, we have had a boat party night with a private Sardinian chef making local squid ink pasta stuff, a seafood one. Um, and it was awesome. And so the other two people who were planning to go back to the UK, they ended up canceling their flights and changing to the next day so they could come.
that's
That's just kind
awesome.
of cool to be able to share that because they've not really done the boat thing. It's like, welcome to boat life. So anyway, everybody off, but the other two that shifted their flight, let them stay here and sleep on board. But I was like, if you want to try something different, there's the trampolines, which is like the nets at the front of the boat. I was like, it's not the most comfortable thing, but one thing that's really nice is if you sleep out on the front, on the trampoline, you're outside, you can watch the stars at night, and then when the sun comes up, you kind of just like roll, have a look, go back to bed because you're already outside. So right now the sun is just coming up in front of me. And so they did that. And the next morning, of course, that was time to wash the boat. So I was like, all right, you get to now experience real fun in boat life. We're going to wash the boat. So I spent the next couple of hours, like two slightly hungover people, washing down a boat. So I can officially tick off, I have gotten a resident to wash the boat. Tick.
Wait.
Some
We definitely
some
need
people's life goals get their yes, exactly. Some people
we need
life
a
goals get
laughing
the
track for
resident
that.
to pick up the dry cleaning. I have now gotten a resident to wash the boat. Woohoo!
Well, that is definitely a clap-worthy moment right there.
Like, life goals
That's
achieved.
like boss life achieved.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
But it was kind of nice, like share something with people. It's like, oh yeah, boat life's good.
Yeah, fair enough. Mine's been very much not boat lifey, but also
What
kind
have
of
you
very
been doing?
chilled. Well, I've moved to San Francisco, or Palo Alto, I should say. So
Crazy. Why would you do
if
that?
you well, so far my experience has been very different to yours, mainly because COVID isn't restarting. um
And just looking at the
How
background, I
long?
can't see 15 other people living in your house.
Yeah, this is true. I kind of went with the too old for that shit. How long did you actually end up spending here before you came back?
I think it was
I don't
two
remember now.
months. I think it was about 2 months or
Okay, yeah,
so.
so you got a solid amount of time. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I've only been here like 4 days, I think, so far. So
Ah,
I'm yeah. So I'm not living in the hacker house style 16 dorm room bed things because I get too old for that shit.
yeah, you had like a
Uh,
bedroom with one bed, and I was like, huh.
yeah, that's right. I have an apartment and I'm missing a kidney, but it's great for weight loss, it turns out. Rent here is fucking ridiculous. Like, just to put it into perspective, I don't know how much you were paying, but I did look at the share houses and I was like, holy crap, they're like 2.5K or 2K USD a month, and it's like a dorm room. Or if you want anything that's like your own private room, so it's literally like a shoebox little apartment, which has a kitchen, which means it has a microwave and a hot plate on top of that, um, and your own bathroom. Like that was gonna be, I think, something like 6 to 7K a month Australian.
Ah,
Uh, and that was a little bit closer, but the thing with that place was that every other room of the place was a different person. Like they're sharing like the walkways, and you get to lock your door, and that's it, right? Would have been fine by me. The thing is, if you look at the actual Airbnb listings, I was looking at for over time. They're like, this is a lot of money for what it is,
ah.
but it's walking distance to Stanford, where I am. Um, but you'd see that there were all these weird chunks on the other listings. I'm like, I would not know who was next door at any given time. Uh, and then there was this other place which was like it actually had a kitchen, and I was like, okay, cool. But the same thing applied where every other one in that entire block of 10 was the short-term rental sort of thing, and I'd be the only long-term block. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like I'm making a ridiculous amount of money, and I don't know who's going to move in and be noisy and whatnot. And that one was a little bit further away. And then there were some reasonable ones that were actually pretty large and looked pretty nice. Um, but at the beginning of the year when I was in Texas, one of the guys was like, "Oh, yeah, you can say it basically anywhere. The only place to avoid is East Palo Alto. It's not really Palo Alto." And I was like, "Okay." And then I looked on the map, and there's a road this apartment was on just not the East Palo Alto side of the road. There's
Ah,
this really dodgy looking park, and then it's East Palo Alto, right? And then I basically did like a Google Maps view around, like just a
uh-huh.
street view, and I'm
Street
like,
view walk.
yeah, I can see why this is a bit cheaper. Like, I would not want to be coming home after dark here.
The best thing is get
Um,
on a bike and ride in that direction. You'll see the cars parked on the side of the street. They start going from Tesla, 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 Tesla. Then it'll be like BMW, BMW, BMW. Then it'll be like Toyota, Camry, 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 Camry. And then it'll be red van, red van, red van, red van. You'll know when you've
I
crossed
mean,
the street to the wrong side.
yeah. Well, I mean, so yesterday I bought the bike, so I finally have a bike now. So
Hey.
it turns
Oh,
out,
hey, you could
yeah,
probably have picked up my bike. My bike
I
is
don't know where
still
your bike
there.
is.
It's there
Where's your
somewhere in
bike?
Menlo Park. It's probably like
Oh,
500 meters from you.
yeah, you told me today.
Hey, do you need a
So
bike?
so
Speaking of which, can you
I
get my bike?
yeah, because there's so many places to ride on your boat. Like,
Totally. Hey, I've
yeah,
got
I
three
can.
bicycles on my boat.
Yeah, I ride it from like the deck to the rear, and sometimes I do wheelies onto the next level, and sometimes I
No,
ride
no,
it into
no.
my bedroom.
Folding bikes. You take it to shore, and that's how you explore the town. It's great.
Is your bike here a folding bike?
No, it's not. It'd be very
Oh.
inconvenient for a boat.
No, so it turned out, so I just went to Facebook Marketplace. I just wanted something cheap that, you could buy at Target. The only reason I definitely wanted a secondhand one is because if you buy it in a store, you have to assemble it yourself or get like a bike shop to assemble it. And I was like, I ain't about that life. So I was like, yep, secondhand it is. So I found this really cheap, shitty one that was like people were selling for $50. But it was a women's bike. And I was like, I don't particularly care. I'll just ride anything. It just needs to get me from point A to point B. But they just wouldn't respond. And the next one up, the guy's like, "Oh, someone's coming to check it out in like 2 weeks' time." I'm like, "The hell? Are you seriously gonna like? I'm offering you the couch today. You're gonna
Hmm.
hold it so someone can have a look at it and try to haggle with you in 2 weeks? Okay, like
Because logic.
And then
Hmm.
yeah, and then the next one up, and so I was like, "Oh, look, the other ones were kind of falling apart," and they're like, "Oh, repairs needed." And I was like, "There's no point in getting these. I just need something that's writable now." So
Hmm.
I had to increase the price bracket a bit, and I was like, "Oh, there's a really nice bike," which I actually not a good thing because I'm assuming this is going to get stolen, right? So I just
Hmm.
want the cheapest functional thing. And like, I don't
Hmm.
want something that looks nice. I actually prefer something that looks shitty. So actually, tomorrow's task is to get duct tape to make it look crappier than it is.
Nice.
Like I'm literally
Scrapify it.
gonna
Well
cover
done.
it. Yeah, and that's tomorrow's task.
I have thought about
Like
doing
the
that for
shows.
my bikes too, because my folding ones are they're quite nice actually. Like, people are like, oh, that's a really cool bike. Can you like? And I'm like, probably
Yeah,
should grab them a bit.
yeah. Tomorrow's task is literally like go get duct tape and other shit and just make it look terrible. Um, but anyway, it ended up like so they originally listed the price at like $300, and I was like, look, I definitely not paying $300 for something that's gonna get stolen. And this is
Mm.
USD, right? It's like
That's
500 or
probably
whatever.
already been stolen. Let's face it.
Well, so okay, so interesting thing is like so then they listed it for 250, and then I was like, I'm brown, I must haggle. So then I was like, come on, lower it down. They're like, we can do, lowest is 230, and I was like, look, limit is 200. It's a nice bike. I'm sure you'll sell it. And I'm sitting there, right? And I screenshotted this and I sent it
Mm.
to someone, and I was like, and now we wait, right? And then literally the next morning, all right, you can have it for 200. Shit feels like it's too
Yeah.
easy being brown sometimes. But then I
Yeah.
felt really bad because they're
The
like,
fun
"Oh,
thing is
I'm
everything
assassin."
in the US is very high. Seriously, yeah, I don't know if you need a quantiferon gold or anything like that for any of your bits and
Uh,
pieces,
I
but
I
start
got it
calling
done.
pathology companies. Yeah, seriously, call the pathology companies and you can haggle the price. It's correct.
Really? I'm
Yeah,
actually do like the ApoB and all the other
I
lipid
got found
profile
from like
things.
400 down to like 50 or $60. I was like happy with that. It's like cash. I pay you cash. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't realize how much cash is king. But so it turns out this person was a neurosurge intern, but they were leaving back to Europe or something. Then I felt bad. I was like, shouldn't be haggling with a intern resident, or whatever. But I'm like, they're
Yeah,
neurosurge, they'll be fine. So it turns out that it was there. So when they moved here, someone else was leaving and they sold them the bike. And
yeah.
then they're selling it on. But I looked up the bike, right? Guess how much the bike actually costs?
$200.
No,
2000?
it's like 800 euro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
It's a decent bike.
whatever. It's 779 euro to USD. So it's 850 USD.
Huh.
So
There you
I
go.
was
You got
like,
yourself a nice little
so
bargain.
that,
So
well,
what you got to
yeah,
do
but
is
now
now
I'm
you've got
actually,
to sell. You just have to sell it for what's your rent again times how long you're there. Sell it for that much when you leave and profit.
yeah. That's one silly person who buy that bike. But anyway, so now I do have a bike, so I can. I'm literally waiting on the helmet to arrive, and then I
Hmm,
will go for a ride. I thought it was
there you
very
go.
ironic
I
that
did
she gave
quite like.
me the bike, no helmet, and I'm like, and
Yeah, the new guy.
initially,
Like he's getting you some work. He's just building up the referral base with local new people. He's like, don't worry,
yeah,
on the
that
way
was
out, I'll leave a bike with no helmet.
yeah. So that was actually the first time I've ridden a bike without a helmet, like since I was a kid. Because Irish doesn't have helmet rules,
Yeah,
so you
actually,
can
it's
do whatever
weird
you want.
here as well. So, boat from the boat, take things on shore. Not a lot of helmeting around either. Most of the time, not really doing long distance stuff. It's more like being annoying by going into a packed town center on a bike. You're like, hello, ding ding.
Uh, but anyway, so that's been like yeah, just exploring San Francisco. Well, not San Francisco, Palo Alto, and just finding like little grocery stores and coffee shops and all that stuff. That's been the last few days. Although I've basically discovered that coffee is I can see why people use it as a luxury product and status symbol here, because dear Lord, it's expensive.
Yeah. And I found actually here, I'm struggling to actually find coffee roasters. And I think it's a language problem because when I put into Google Maps, like coffee roaster, because I've just run out of the good beans. So I've one of the people brought good beans on board from Denmark. And then because I've just had these leftover shit beans on the boat. Unfortunately, I'm back to the shit beans now. And I was like, Italy, there must be some coffee beans. If you Google coffee roaster, all you
What do
do is
they
you
know
find
about
coffee
coffee?
shops. You find coffee shops, not like necessarily roasting people. So I'm like,
If
damn
you
it, I got
only had the latest Samsung phones that just came out with brilliant interpreter services that we clearly don't have on Apple, that's what you need.
Absolutely not. No.
That would have
But
fixed
yes,
it, you know? That's what you need to
definitely.
do. Switch to Samsung. Actually, that's been the one weird thing is so Samsung did have, so I landed and about 10 hours later was like the last unpacked event. And so every other year there's like this big push and like I'm part of it and like, you know, social media stuff and that like usually I can get access to the samples either straight away or, you know, just I get to play with it. This year, I'm like, it obviously can't send it all the way here. Right. So it's been this weird thing, and because of the time difference, it's all very jilted. And yeah, but at the same time, people still like message me about it. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not
I think what you
really.
should do is go to the Apple store, get some Apple phones, and then, problem solved. Be like, yes,
Why? I would just
the
put them in the
Apple stuff
bin.
is great. Unfortunately, I just had, so it turns out for anybody in Australia, the Apple Vision Pro is now available in Australia.
Yeah, don't
And
get one.
I just heard reports from a friend who got one. It was like, it's amazing. I was like, damn. No, I want one.
Actually, the thing is, if you look at the US reports, it's like the sales have basically fallen off a cliff after the first month, and there's like
Yeah, that
no
makes
pickup
sense
after
because
that.
it's like there's a very small group of people who want one.
Yeah, but it's also just not like I think eventually it'll be probably like the next computing platform because
Well,
there's already currently
it's like the cost of like 5 iPhones. So like, it's not cheap. And it's not
no,
meant to
but
be like consumer device at the moment. It's more like for the stupid tech person who'll be like, that looks fun, I'll buy that.
no, but have you seen? There's all these Chinese computer manufacturers that now have a keyboard and there's no screen. You just get a glasses, and there's
Yeah.
now essentially like your old Power Pilot keyboard, like the foldable ones. So there's like an actual proper laptop level CPU thing, and it's meant to be like streamed directly into like VR goggles. So I think this weird new form factor is coming, weirdly.
Yeah.
So the thing
And
that you
then
wanted to
in a
do,
year or
which is
two, Apple will have the exact same thing, but just better and magical.
well, actually, the last so this is like how Apple used to always do. Oh, and then one more thing. So the last couple of Samsung events have had the one more thing. So the last one they were like, and the Samsung Ring, which is like the Aura Ring competitor, right? And at the end of this one, the head of Android came on, Rick Osterler or whatever, all right? So like they flew him to Paris just for 2 minutes, where he goes, yeah, and the next generation of XR technologies that we're developing with that. I'm like, oh shit! So you flew at Google exec all the way to Paris so that you could say, oh yeah, the Vision Pro thing. We got something like that coming out too. That was it. It was like right at the end of the presentation. They bring you on. I'm like, but you presented all the devices. Like, what are you gonna do? Right? And it was that.
So
That was the next thing that's coming.
what I'm hearing
Is this
is
true?
they're now copying
True
the
and
one more thing
no.
and what
This
Apple's
isn't
doing.
true.
Understood.
No, this is totally new and revolutionary. You have never seen any sort of marketing gimmicks like this before. Okay,
Absolutely not. This would be like putting an ARM processor in a computer. Anyway, I'm sure we're
it never
boring
done,
the
never been done
non-technology
before.
people now. All we have to do
All
is
right,
slip in AI and Tesla. And we're full
Elon.
circle. All right, let's move on to our random question.
All right, you came up with this one, so you
Sure.
yeah.
So one thing I've noticed is so again, this is my first home, right? So normally there's a cleaner that shit gets sorted out. Cleaning is done. This is the first time I've had my own home, and so I have particular ways I like to clean. And because I have various different people coming on at different times, it's interesting because I'm like, that's not like some
if
things.
only you had
Actually,
like particular habits about how you eat. Not your freaking sardines and random mashup powder bullshit.
Sardine. But so there's one thing where I used to go to one of my boss's houses in Bunbury, and he would always, I'd be like, oh, we can do after, afternoon. It's like, oh yeah, do you want to put stuff in the dishwasher and stuff? Yeah, no, it's all good. I got it. Anyway, and his wife was like, oh no, he always likes to, pack the dishwasher. And he was like, oh yeah, it's like a little routine thing. And I was like, oh, that's just weird. Anyway, now that I have a dishwasher, I have a particular way the dishwasher is packed. It's very annoying when the dishwasher is packed incorrectly.
Now you know,
like,
because remember
when you put the forks, the knives, and the spoons, you line them up. They go in grouping. You don't just put them in.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the OCD version of Chandra that he normally keeps so hidden. Exactly. So this is like, okay, on your sardine mush thing, right? Do you remember when you made that version that was like concrete? And then you just left it in the sink for like 3 weeks because it was too hard to scrape out. And then when you did finally put it into the dishwasher, it had a ring of that green, like athletic green sardine.
I thought time would fix it. Time fixes everything. Like, that's what I was told.
In my mind, every time I picked up the ball, like, this is Chandra's ball. He has to fix that.
But yeah, so that is my pedantic thing. And even like the way the kitchen is cleaned, there are certain things that need to be wiped down correctly.
Yeah,
but
no,
yes.
fair enough. I don't think I am.
Do you have dishwasher packing methodologies?
Look, I don't think I'm that pedantic about the dishwasher because half the time my wife does it, another time I do it, and then you either turn it on or you spend like the next half hour repacking it. So I've just kind of moved on from that. I think if it was me by myself, then yes, I would definitely have tendencies like that. And I'm a bit different in that at home I do have a cleaner, but it's kind of like usually for me, mess builds up to a certain point, and then I just can't take it anymore, and then I clean up. But it turns out that so I never considered myself clean or that tidy, right? It just turns out that my line of what's I'm like messy and tidy is just so much lower than my wife's. So like I constantly just crack the shits and just fix things, right? And she's like, oh, I'll do it. And then they'll be like 2 weeks later, I'm like, it's still not done. But the thing that actually drives me insane is this
what I'm
tiny
hearing is
little
she's
thing.
worked out a successful strategy of how to keep the house clean. Just leave it just a little bit longer and it's done. Well done.
Oh man, yeah, it's yeah. So she has her own room for this very reason, which I don't go into because like I just can't stand it. But what she does, and like my mother-in-law does this as well, and it drives me nuts, is like kitchen towels, just like standard paper towel sort of thing. So they'll get it and they'll like wipe it down, but then they'll be like, well, it hasn't had its full utility. So they'll kind of fold it and leave it at the sink. And I don't know why. So it's like this half-used paper towel in the corner. And then she's like, why is this here? Why is this not in the bin? It's like, oh, there's a little bit more use. I'm like, it's 0.3%. Just chuck it out and get a new one tomorrow. It doesn't need 100% utilization because it just looks like mess to me because it's like this random crap in the corner.
But no, it's waste. Why would you waste that? There's at least a quarter of like you could wipe something else.
Yeah, but the thing is, it'll stay there, right? And because they always also leave it at the corner of the sink, where it's a paper towel, it's a sink, there's water, it just gets weight, so it becomes
what could go wrong?
Slop of crap, right?
What could possibly
and
go
it
wrong?
drives me absolutely nuts. So every so often I'll come home and I'll be like, why is there a paper towel in the corner again? That's my beautiful. Yeah, pedantic. I'm not sure if that's even a pedantic cleaning thing. It's just more like, why can't we just wipe the thing and chuck it out and move on with life? Why do you have to have a value proposition for a paper towel?
Like, got it. I'll come through. I'll make sure next time I come over, I'll bring some paper towels to leave in the corner.
And the thing is, this is the other ridiculous thing. It's not even like when you can tear off a sheet and you get a sheet of paper towel, right? They'll tear off like a quarter, and of that it'll be like this little. I mean, come on, guys! Like,
well, yeah, you can't use the whole piece unnecessarily. Crazy.
I've just never encountered any specific thing like that before. So yeah, that's probably my little. Actually, this leads us directly into did you know our random fact for this week? You better start working on it because he was still
Indeed.
So this actually leads us on to the fact that I realized that Australia is in the top 10 for something, and that is only second to Singapore. But we are the second most user of disposable plastics in the world. So I had the stats here somewhere.
I would have figured like Japan is number one because like everything is individually packed and then repacked.
Yeah, I'm not sure how, but it's Singapore, and it's like a pretty decent factor as well. Singapore's like nearly double us to begin with. And then we're the second. Oh, where did this go? I had it open a second ago, but anyway. So there you go. We are world leading. I'm not sure if we want to be the world leaders, but that is the random fact for me. Did you have a random fact too?
I do actually. So it turns out where I am right now in Sardinia is a blue zone. And so it's this whole thing of
Right.
there's apparently almost 10 times more centenarians per capita than the US. But it's interesting. It's also one of the lowest paid regions of Italy. And when we were there, like, they were like, I was like, oh yeah, like, very paid, fully paid area, blah, 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 etc. There's also like, but they seem to live the longest, and we had a lot of wine, and they seem to smoke a lot. It's also like very confusing. You all basically just smoke and drink all the time, but a lot of good
They're
community
well
here as well.
well preserved. Just like
Yep.
smoked salmon lasts for a very much longer than fresh salmon does.
So I feel like we're all just
Just
doing
to
it
clarify,
wrong.
we're not supporting smoking or drinking
No.
for entertainment purposes only.
Yes. Unless it's
Uh,
good wine, like But yeah. So it was an interesting little contrast.
Is there anything else that they do? I mean, isn't that hypothesis it's all like the Mediterranean diet sort of a thing where it's all fresh confused and less processed things?
Well, I think like they looked at all the common things across all the different places, and apparently one of the big things is there's a sense of community things as well. So sense of community, and then a lot of walking around uphill as well for old people. And so a lot of
Hey,
these
your
places,
favorite
like,
things.
yeah, I'm like, clearly I'd be dead, no problems.
Hey, if you move there, I'll be like, hey, look, there's a new place. It's just around the corner for just for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So what they do is they'll have like the church slightly uphill. So everybody goes uphill, like walks to get there, and then they just
Yeah.
hang out there together. So like kind of makes sense. Like you got a sense of community, you get a little bit of exercise, and you've got a purpose for the day. Like,
But there's no big hospital,
kind of
right?
makes
Because
sense.
I mean, if there's any orthopods there, then you'd have to just trip them down a hill.
Yeah,
And
this
then,
is true.
like,
Then there'll be rocks on the way.
all right,
So
all
that
right.
was my little
Well, I
random
mean,
fact.
if you actually, on that note, if you are interested in longevity, there is a book that I'm currently listening to on audiobook called Outlive by Peter Thiel, which actually one of the chapters is on the things that I'm not up to that on yet. And it looks at, it's like, what's the evidence behind
Maybe a little
longevity?
Blue Zone episode is coming up.
Oh, that's true. Hey, we could do that. We could do that. But until then, anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to see if you've been watching the video, you've probably been slowly watching the sunrise in my glasses. There we go. I'll give you one last view of it in case you're watching the video.
Oh, it looks terrible. I think you should just move back to like, Melbourne or Bunbury. It's yeah, it's
I
definitely
am
terrible.
slowly at 5 to 10 kilometers an hour.
You're heading the wrong way. You're in the Greek islands, you realize.
Look, I've started this way. I'll keep coming this way.
All right, with that the challenging direction, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Catch us. Bye.